Jaya Gopi Jana Balla Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Balla Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopina Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Pimanandi. Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagacharya Stotra Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Sirabai Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi Biti Founder Charya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namasarya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Harinama Sankirtan Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Daini Thai Gold Primanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurandaritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kantana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraya. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamhita Uttama Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nisreya Salokasya Dhanyam Swastyayanam Mahat. The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. Siva Sadi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Mukam karoti vacharam pangum nangayate girim. Yad kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We are close to the end, actually, of the prayers of Queen Kunti Devi. Actually, still not so close to the end. Today we are looking at text number 42. Yes. Twayi me ananya vishaya matir madhu pate sakrit ratim udvahatad adha gangivaugham udanvati twayi me nanya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit ratim udvahatad adha gangivaugham udanvati twayi me nanya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit ratim udvahatad adha gangevaugham udanvati twayi me nanya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit ratim udvahatad adha gangevaugham udanvati twayi me nanya vishaya madhupate sakrit ratim udvahatad adha gangevaugham udanvati
त्वयि मेऽनन्यविषया
Tvayi me nanya vishaya
मतिर्मधुपते सकृत्
matir madhupate sakrit
रतिमुद्वाहता दद्धा
ratim mudvahata dadha
गङ्गे वौगमुदान्वती
gange bogham mudanvati
तयि मेऽनन्यविषय
Tvayi me nanya vishaya
मतिर्मधुपते सकृत्
matir madhupate sakrit
रतिमुद्वाहतत् अधः
ratim mudvahata adha
गङ्गे भौगम् उदान्वती
gange bogham mudanvati Tvayi unto you may my Ananya Vishaya unalloyed Matihi attention Madhupate O Lord of Madhu Asakrit continuously Ratim attraction Udvahatat may overflow Adha directly Ganga the Ganges Iva like Ogham flows Udanvati down to the sea being diverted to anyone else. Kindly repeat after me. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Purport. Perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements, like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others because this is a symptom of life. The symptoms of life, such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, etc., cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated, but in devotional service, the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed, it is called perfection. In the Bhagavad Gita, we can see that Arjuna desired not to fight with his brothers and relations just to satisfy his own personal desires. But when he heard the message of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he changed his decision and served the Lord. And for his doing so, he became famous. He became a famous devotee of the Lord. For it is declared in all the scriptures that Arjuna attained spiritual perfection by devotional service to the Lord in friendship. The fighting was there, the friendship was there, Arjuna was there, and Krishna was there. But Arjuna became a different person by devotional service. Therefore, the prayers of Kunti also indicate the same categorical changes in activities. Srimati Kunti wanted to serve the Lord without diversion, and that was her prayer. This unalloyed devotion is the ultimate life. Our attention is usually diverted to the service of something godly or is changed into the service of the Lord. That is to say, when the senses are purified in relation with the service of the Lord, it is called pure, unalloyed devotional service. Srimati Kunti Devi wanted that perfection and prayed for it from the Lord. Her affection for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis is not out of the range of devotional service, because the service of the Lord and the service of the devotees are identical. Mm. Sometimes service to the devotees is more valuable than service to the Lord. But here, the affection of Kunti Devi for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis was due to family relation. This tie of affection, in terms of material relation, is a relation of Maya, because the relations of the body or the mind are due to the influence of the external energy. Relations of the soul, established in relation with the Supreme Soul, are factual relations. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. This relation of the soul to the soul can be established by the via medium of the relation with the supersoul. Seeing in the darkness is seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in the darkness. That is the way of devotional service. Translation again. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be without being diverted to anyone else. All of the prayers of Kunti Devi are very wonderful. Some of them more, uh, we could say more wonderful. um, nice comparison of the Ganga. The Ganga is forever flowing towards the sea, um, a natural flow. So a devotee prays as Queen Kunti Devi is praying here, that that our attraction be constantly uh, directed towards uh, which some philosophies actually advocate. Mm. That is why Srila Prabhupada composed the prayer that we recite every day. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesh Shanyavadi Pastyata Desatarini. The philosophy of Nirvishesh and Shunyavad, impersonalism and avoidism, are totally opposite or against the whole concept and mood of bhakti or devotional service. um, Prabhupada uses a lot the word unalloyed. Actually, this uh, is directly connected with, I guess, one of many verses from the Bhagavad Gita. And the one that comes to mind is from the 14th chapter, which is actually dealing with the three modes of material nature. Um, and Prabhupada often quotes this verse, whereby, which is the conclusion of the instruction of this particular chapter. Mm, uh, it is only when we are totally freed from the modes of material nature. How to become freed is nicely explained in text number 26. Mam sayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samitityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. I'm sure we've heard this text many times. And the translation is one who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and this comes to the level of Brahman. So those who know Sanskrit related with these two related with these two families, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Of course, they are devotees, and so one can. Prabhupada makes this nice statement. Developing relationship or expressing affection towards the devotees is identical to uh, expressing affection to the Lord. Uh, and even sometimes the Lord is more pleased when more attention is given to his devotees than to him. As a matter of fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself explains that those who claim to be my devotees are not actually my devotees. Those who are devotees of my devotees, isn't it? Because the devotees of the Lord are very, very dear to him. So that is meant to be the innermost desire, actually, for a devotee to be uh, to be fixed in that goal of simply wanting to render service to the Lord, um, mm, and to not be distracted by any other um, activity which will take him away from that uh, activity of service to the Lord, or from remembering what is the primary objective of of life. Uh, and this um, this is a prayer even for advanced devotees. Mm, we know how um, in the example of mm, King Bharat, isn't it? King Bharat had left everything, uh, was living a very simple, humble life in the forest, and it is described that he had reached a level of um, just before the level of prema. He was at the level of bhava, very exalted level, but because of uh, some affection, misplaced affection, we could say, he became overly attached to this small deer that he had saved, um, and because of that, uh, his stay in the material world had to be prolonged. He had to take birth again as a deer. But of course, because he was very highly advanced, he was he was given the benediction of remembering his previous life, and uh, in his next life, then he attained perfection. So therefore, um, devotees, devotees need to uh, cultivate this mood and mentality that is being expressed here by uh, a most exalted personality, Queen Kunti Devi. Uh, and so, how to develop that consciousness? What are some of the ways to develop uh, that um, what is what is being conveyed or what is being expressed here by Queen Kunti Devi?
And why the devotions is to hearing about the glories of Lord Krishna with his devotees
Yes,
fasting.
yes, constantly hearing mm, in the morning, in the evening, and in between. Yes, that is one of the. Uh, I think some days back we were reading one verse where that was nicely being elaborated upon by Srila Prabhupada, that everything begins with hearing. Our whole life will be molded based on our quality of hearing. The quality of hearing and hearing from the right source also, Prabhupada would explain. Mm. So yes, that's why in Goloka Vrindavan, um, there is constant, well, even we hear about this in um, Gandharva Loka, which is the planet where uh, demigods are engaged in singing and dancing. The Brahma Samhita, which describes the world of Chintamani, or the spiritual world, there is constant transcendental sound vibration. That's why, for example, when we go to temples, um, there should be sound vibration. Um, it used to be, well, this was introduced especially in Vrindavan and also Mayapur, maybe other places also, what we call 24-hour kirtan, because um, such holy places like Vrindavan and Mayapur um, are especially meant to help us remember. And this remembrance especially comes by this constant uh, sravanam, hearing, hearing transcendental sound vibration, which has the effect of purifying our consciousness. So hearing is, um, yeah, one of the most important practices or methods by which we can uh, remember and develop. Here it speaks about like the nice example of the Ganga. The Ganga naturally flows, all rivers flow towards the ocean. So this is in reference to attraction. The Ganga automatically flows. So what is being expressed here is how can our attraction also naturally flow towards Krishna, towards Krishna's devotional service. Mm. That is, uh, that should be uh, the the desire and the mentality of devotees. Mm. So yeah, hearing is one very powerful way. Another way of developing that kind of uh, a mood and mentality,
Remembering also
remembering.
pastimes.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
they are natural function of the mind remembering.
yeah,
So we have to direct that natural functions like here, natural function to be attracted. And then attraction brings memory, remembrance. So they are natural functions because we are persons, but we have to direct it, not allow to misplace that functions. So control these functions of the mind, intelligence, and our personalities to be part of this devotional service, to be part of the Ganga, like water should not stop near to the Ganga, but have to flow into the Ganga
Right.
as far as possible, and then the Ganga will take care of us. So that's the question: what blocks us? Our natural tendency is to be a servant, but something can block us, like keep us afar, or just again reconnect, reconnect us from from the flow of devotions. Because devotions is not just one action; it's just a continuous program.
Yes. Yes.
And one program is come from the other, others come from the next. So we need ourselves in that flow of different programs.
Right.
And that's I think we have to choose the object of the remembrance properly, which is more natural for each of us according to what our teachers teach us, because different teachers teach us different things.
Yes.
Not not different qualities, but in different way.
Yes.
So I think that's interesting program to work out how one individual keeps his own individuality in the devotion service, but still have the same quality.
Yes.
This kind of natural attraction quality. And I think that when we choose, uh, we need to focus on the devotional service itself more than the object of the devotional service, separately from others who are doing different kind of service. So I think we need more focus on devotees who already have this attraction, and then remembers first on the devotees and then how they remember on Krishna. So these two steps will help,
Yes.
because then if we remember on the devotees, then Krishna sees we are appreciating them.
Yes. That was one point that Srila Prabhupada would make also. Never leave the association of devotees,
Yeah,
because devotees, especially in Kali Yuga, uh, especially in Kali Yuga, because there's so much uh, distractions and non-devotional uh, activities going on in Kali Yuga. So unless one is keeping very close contact and association with devotees, then the dangers are there of being uh, distracted. Um, yeah, and that point also, every devotee is like different. You know, we are created that way. Krishna's created every person very unique individual, and we have therefore different attractions or different tendencies, and in devotional service or in Krishna consciousness, we need to find things that are especially connected with our nature. Uh, I mean, devotional service is a very general term, but then that can be practiced or performed in so many different ways. But the ideal ways is what will be. I think that was one question. Um, mm, that how was that worded? It's like ultimately we should be asking ourselves what we can do, uh, not what God can do for us, but what we can do for Krishna ultimately. Uh, mm, yeah, that uh, Prabhupada sometimes would ask, when devotees would be approaching him, he would be asking them, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What can you do for Krishna?" Because it should not be something external. It should actually, of course, sometimes some particular directive or instruction or senior Vaishnavas, but ultimately, whatever we are wanting to do, uh, it should be uh, very much something that is um, that we're convinced of. Or sometimes we do things that we may not, because there's a necessity for doing, we will do it. But idea is that we should perform activities that we are liking to perform, that we are uh, convinced are uh, very important to perform.
Or does do exist this kind of original type of prototype of devotees? Like we know that mother and father is a prototype devotee, but after that there are like uncles and a different type of relations, also prototype type, or they are following their like mother Queen Kunti. She's an elderly lady for Krishna in relationship with Krishna. She's like Krishna's mother, one of the mothers, like Devaki or Mother Yashoda. So what makes her connect to Krishna? To follow these mothers, or does she have her own specific type of type relationship to Krishna, like an auntie?
She's the aunt, of course,
Mm.
of, of, of Krishna. Um, mm, she's she's the prototype or example of someone who's having family relation with Krishna. But very often, family relation may divert us from, let's say, our spiritual relations. Generally, that's the problem in the material world. Family relations, whether between brother and sister, or children and parents, or uh, wife and husband, whatever, tend to divert us from the real, original, pure relationship that is meant to be established with Krishna. So that's not the case with Queen Kunti Devi. Um, although she prays this way, that um, let me not be. Um, I don't think she uses the word entangled, but let me not be diverted um, due to family relations that are there. But let me just um, simply become your fully unalloyed, surrendered devotee, and let my mind be fixed on your lotus feet, and let that attraction to you not in any way be obstructed, just like the Ganges that is flowing towards the ocean. It is naturally flowing there, and let my she's praying that let my attraction in a similar way simply be uninterrupted. Uh, so that is, yeah, the mood and mentality um, that is meant to be there actually for all those who are devotees, because we're all in different material situations, and mm, our main and primary um, goal and objective is to um, keep Krishna in view and in mind. And of course, we do this in the association of devotees as well. Um, and again, like Queen Kunti Devi, um, all of her sons were devotees. Uh, so we know that is nicely explained from by Srila Rupa Goswami, the whole uh, science of relationship, which is the science of rasa. So the more that's very wonderfully elaborated, especially in the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan, and then our Goswamis of Vrindavan have written various literatures that further elaborate actually this whole dimension and aspect of rasa. And of course, in Vrindavan especially, regardless of which different um, relationships are there, because that is one of the, I would say, very attractive features in the Vedic culture. Like the residents of Vrindavan um, and the residents of actually all villages that are following uh, the principles of Dharma, they're very close knit, very closely. It's like family, isn't it? A village is meant to be like a family, developing that family mood, because everyone knows one another and everyone is related, uncle and cousin and whatnot. But the center, and that's the important feature, the center is Krishna, isn't it? The center, like if we study village, um, how to establish a village, there are directives that are there in the Shastra, which is primarily the responsibility of kings. Kings would establish villages, they would build forts, they would build cities, um, unless you had somebody, unless you had some special connection with Vishwakarma, he would build it for you. But that is very rare. But there's a whole science. And of course, part of that whole science is that what's in the center of the village? The temple. And all activities are centered around, you know, visiting the temple, so many different festivals. I think I was mentioning how that was explained to me some years back when I was visiting Bali in Indonesia. It's still, they still maintain very strong remnants of the Vedic culture. And to this day, like they have a system that you cannot be part of a village. You cannot live in a village unless you are actively participating in the cultural and religious functions. And they have many. That's another thing. Like in the Vedic culture, there are many, like in our, we read every day Vaishnav calendar. There's so many festivals, like, Balaram Jayanti is coming. Yes, and then Krishna Janmashtami, and then appearance of different Vaishnav acharyas, etc. So actually, the whole lifestyle is meant to be filled with festivities connected with Krishna. Everyone is focused or fixed on Krishna, then everyone's relationship is meant to further enhance that original relationship with Krishna. So that's why in modern day, the whole modern day setup is very much breaking those relationships, those natural relationships which are meant to be especially manifest and displayed in a village atmosphere. Um, there are guidelines, for example, how many families should make up a village. Of course, there are different types of villages. I mean, there are some of the close to maybe 7 lakhs of villages that are still in India. Of course, it's come down in the last quite a few decades. But there are different categories. It's interesting to study. I had a quick glance at that some time back. There are villages that have not more maybe than 20 families. Most villages have maybe like hundreds of families, medium sized. So you have like some very small villages are there. Then you have medium sized villages. Then you have larger villages. But then there's a kind of a limit. Then after some time, when you reach a certain, then another village is meant to be created. Otherwise, it becomes like a city, which is how modern day, to a large extent, many of the modern day cities have been created by just putting
Yeah,
villages together.
joining the
Yeah,
villages nearby.
which is not meant to be the way of actually creating or establishing villages. There's a whole science. I mean, that's the beauty of the Vedic culture is that whatever you want to do, even planting carrots or whatever, agriculture, there's a whole very deep uh, science which is also meant to be connected with how to um, how to serve Krishna, how to please Krishna, right?
Yeah, that's in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's intention that, okay, you are in the material world. You want to become happy or want to be happy. I have to inform you that, yeah, you can do only the maximum happiness when you follow the
Yeah,
Shastra.
yeah.
Because that's my thought. Just
Yes,
arrange everything. If you don't follow any little path, then you increase your
yes,
unhappiness, you increase your anxiety. So
yes,
don't do
yeah. Krishna has given us the master plan,
that. Yeah,
but out of our foolishness, we want to create our own
we
master
have
plan.
too much.
Yeah. Prabhupada would call it, over intelligence.
Yeah, which we don't utilize for really absorbing in Krishna's very complex activities. So that's lazy part of our intellect.
Yes.
And then we utilize it for finding out, oh, maybe Krishna is not really perfect in that
Right.
area. So I
Yeah.
have to help him.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's like giving us Krishna has given us the blueprint. Yeah, the blueprint. The blueprint is there. The guide manual. You know, we buy like this cell phone in the box. There's a guide manual. So Shastra, the guide manual, how to live materially and as well as spiritually. Yeah. Mm,
So I think a part of my question's answer also that I heard that the original entourage of Krishna is in Vrindavan,
the original.
in the spiritual Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So every relationship is there.
Yes. Yes.
And then when Krishna appears in Dwaraka or Mathura, the same persons expand themselves and they become the part of that other lila also, but in extended form, like the mother of Krishna, Yashoda. But she extend for being a mother of Dwaraka Krishna or others. So they are they are appearing like looks like different persons, but they are extension of the original uh, associates of Krishna, original servant of Krishna.
Mm. Yeah, like the Krishna in Vrindavan is not the same Krishna as in Dwarka, right? Yeah, quite deep subject matters.
And then other person
What do you
mix
mean?
with them, like demigods invited to mix with them. Why? To learn from them,
Yeah,
to become more enlivened on spiritual topics. Otherwise, they are just spending their time in heaven,
just flying around.
useless.
Right, right.
But here, they can associate with really pure persons, and then they can get that feeling. They get, oh, that's better than
Correct.
just
Yes,
living separately.
yes,
And the same with us. So we just have to be engaged in such a service when someone is already purified, so already perfected, and then learn from them.
yes, yeah. That's the whole um, intent in the Nectar of Instruction. Srila Rupa Goswami nicely explains how the perfection of a devotee is that he will follow in the footsteps of President of Vrindavan. Right? Yes. And that general instruction is there also. Mahajana Yenagata Sapantaha. And we follow in the footsteps of Mahajanas of great personalities.
So when we see other devotees, we need to engage our intellect. What kind of beautiful service that specific devotee does, and how can I learn
Yeah, yeah.
from that devotee in that specific area or the mood, or and
Yes,
that's a good in that meditation when we keep that
yes,
really listening at it.
correct. Yeah. How I can learn from
Yeah.
different, yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Yes. A little sunlight this morning. Okay. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Gaur Ki Manandi.
His Holiness Bhakti Raghunath Swami